All right, so I gave you tips before on how to be a better assistant when you're on a photo shoot, video shoot, or whatever kind of shoot you're on. But I get a lot of questions asking, emails from Facebook, everything like that, asking, well, how about second shooting? Because a huge distinction is that second shooting and assisting is the same thing. That's not necessarily true. Second shooting is something entirely different. You're actually shooting. So here's some tips on how to be a way more effective second shooter. Once again, this isn't assisting per se, even though it involves some of the things, but here's some tips for you. To be a really effective second photographer, you have to be early. You got to be early to your shoots so that way it really blows away whoever you're working under, because you are working under someone. It's not necessarily your client, and that's a huge distinction you have to make. This isn't your job. It's not your gig. It's a gig for you, but it's not your job. So you're helping out. You're shooting on the side and everything like that. There may be an assistant that will actually do the the access work. So be very early, be punctual, and be there on time. Now, one of the huge things is do not bug to leave early. First of all, if you do that, you're probably never going to get hired again, and you're going to be blacklisted. And that basically means your name's going to get around and people will not hire you. So be one of the last to leave. Stay with the main photographer or the first shooter and then leave with them. You're pretty much going to have to leave at the end of the event, even if it's a 14-hour day. Yes, it sucks, but it'll be worth it, and it shows you really have determination. So be punctual and wait till the end. Please don't bug. You know, it's interesting, and I've run into this before when I was at a wedding or at an event, and I've seen the second photographer either being kicked off the shoot, or they weren't wearing exactly what they were supposed to wear. Dress for the occasion. I don't understand this. So there was a wedding that I was at. I wasn't shooting it, and I saw I guess he was the main photographer, and then the second photographer was just in a shirt and jeans. Now, if that was me, I would have told the second photographer to leave, and I would never hire them again, or I'd give them a really big warning. But just for the occasion, you have to know the agenda. You have to get your phone numbers. You have to get the addresses of the places you're going to be, especially if you're not driving with the first photographer. God forbid they leave them at home, the addresses or anything like that. Be prepared. Bring backup. Bring physical copies, because your phone can die. So be ready. Get everything prepared, and you never know. You always might have to pay some kind of toll. So make sure you have that kind of money ready, and especially parking. If you don't know about the parking situation, you could be in trouble. So always be ready. Have the addresses and phone numbers you need right then and there, because all of a sudden when the limo leaves and you're still packing up from your base camp and you're getting all ready to go to your wedding or whatever, well, you better know where you're going. Keep these at home. Keep your business cards away. This is not your wedding. You're shooting under someone. You got lucky to get a job. You're second shooting for someone, and it's important. So this is not your wedding. This isn't necessarily where you go, oh, hey, I'm Eric, the guy with the eye, or blah, blah, blah. You're working under someone. You can be working under a company. So don't there's a fine line you really have to walk, because if someone asks, oh, do you have a card? I guess you can give them to them, but a lot of people make distinction as, oh, I'm the photographer no matter what, and I'm going to go spread them around. It's not your wedding. Yes, you want to eventually get weddings done yourself, hopefully, down the road, but you got to be very respectful and polite to the people who hire you, or else you're screwed and you won't get hired again. Two huge things here, okay? You never want to shoot over the first photographer's shoulder unless directed, because if you're there behind his or her back, doesn't matter, you're going to get in the way. You're going to distract the subject. They might be looking at you instead when they should be looking at the first photographer. Things could be moving, and God forbid you miss the shot, which you really needed because the eyes were in the right direction for the first photographer. So don't shoot over their shoulder. It's really important. The other thing to look for is using a different lens. Say if they're using a 70-200, maybe go off to the side and use a 24-70. Use a 14-24 or something. That might be a little bit too large, too wide, but use a different lens. Get a different perspective. Do something different, because you don't want to get the same exact look. You want to give variety. You want to give something different to the first shooter when they call your images, when they go through them. So that way you have something that looks way more unique, and it's not the exact same shot, because those are annoying. And don't seem like you're an amateur, or don't seem like you're inexperienced if you haven't done this before, because one of the huge things is not looking like you know what you're doing when you're around your subject. That's really important. If you don't understand why this lighting is set up a certain way, or why you're not getting a certain setting, or why this flash, blah, 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 right at that second with, the subject in front of you, you don't say anything right then and there. Hold that off to the side, because if you look inexperienced, it's going to make the subject feel uncomfortable, and it's not going to be a good thing. You might kind of ruin the shoot. So that's really key. And please, 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 as a first shooter or someone hiring a second photographer, watch out, stay out of our background, because those shots where you're in the background, if you're a second photographer or even just an assistant, it's a gone shot, because you're either sitting there looking at your camera or you're doing some weird shot up here and the shot's ruined. Now there could be some kind of cool things, maybe if you're at like an altar or at some kind of group and and you're doing something, you look really engaged, but typically it's just you look like you shouldn't be there, and then it's a waste of a shot, it's a waste of a moment, and you can have something really great but you can't even crop into it because it just might not be worth it. So watch where you are. The one huge thing I want to give you is to look for the details of the day. Look at, just around the area. There's all kinds of things around. And I use weddings a lot because I guess it's more universally understandable, but like details in the dress, especially maybe if you're at a fashion shoot or something, details, detail shots, details, of the building, of anything. So look for something different. You have more free reign. The stress, the pressure is not fully on you. You're getting the other shots and you get the group shots and you have the different angle of the photographer, because we could both be shooting the same group. I could be shooting them from the front, maybe up a little bit, and I'm thinking that's a great angle, it could look great, but who knows, maybe some side angle is fantastic and it could work for the same image. So keep that in mind. The pressure is not on you, but you can get something really great and you can concentrate on the smaller stuff that could really help build an album. Those are the tips that I have to be a more effective second photographer. You have more free reign than as your first shooter. The stress isn't on you. You're not the contact. You're not editing a ton of these, but make it easier on the first shooter. Be there, be prepared, be ready, and just do it. Have fun while you're going at it. It's an awesome experience. As I said, you're really helping someone out. But more importantly, you are learning posing, you're learning lighting, you're learning everything they need to do along a day, no matter what kind of shoot. That's all I got. Eric Rossi, the guy with the eye. Keep an eye out. Be a better second shooter, at least more effective.